Hello, welcome to my channel Conscious Growing. I'm Matthias. As you see, I'm in a new environment and I'm on vacations on the countryside and having a wonderful, huge garden around me, lots of woods, lots of lakes, and I've been here for a couple of days already and I will stay a few days longer. And sitting on this veranda, and hopefully there are not too many noises from outside because it's a Saturday and people do their gardens, all kinds of stuff. There was a guy hammering around in the neighborhood, and so let's see where we get from here. And what I want to talk about today is another important video, and I really mean what I say, because today I want to talk about the patterns we build in recovery. And what I observed, of course, in myself as well, was that when you are dealing with anxiety and chronic symptoms, it's quite likely that you are checking all the possibilities, and most of the people, they recognize at a certain point that the medical world can't give much support, and for sure not ways to heal chronic illnesses. And so somehow you get on your own journey and then thank God there is lots of good content out there, and you get some ideas how you can recover, and you hear people talking about their recovery and what helped them, and then you see that there are some unique tendencies, but there's also it's very personal also, and then you make your own picture, and then at a certain point you see, okay, now I know what to do to get better, to recover. Also, I know that this is not a straight line, it's not a straight process. I will go through lots of ups and downs. This is part of the journey, and you know this. But what happens, what easily can happen, is that at a certain point you have all the information you need, and you still continue to watch the videos. And no blame on anyone, because I was the same. And I was always trying to figure out what is this last little secret that will help me to get over this. And so I was still checking, and then I listened to someone else, and that was a little bit different, but it all makes sense as well. And then I get a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and try to make my own thing out of it. And at a certain point I realized I was kind of running in circles, because I observed a habit within me. And the habit was, when I felt bad, when I felt anxiety coming up, when I felt symptoms coming up, I had the tendency to check some other YouTube videos. And here's the point, because I think there's nothing against it when you still listen to videos. No blame, as I said, and it can be helpful to stay on track. And when you are off track a little bit, it's really helpful to come back on track, to hear someone who recovered and tells you okay, don't look left and right, just go straight. And what does straight means? I think straight means to understand that this whole thing is an inner job you have to do. No one can do it for you. No video will give you the answer. No one can show you, can take you by the hand and can say, look, we do step by step by step by step. The only thing that people like this, they can take your hand and they can show you, but you have to make the steps. And one of the things, and this is what I want to point out here, is what when you are really in the storm of a setback, let's say, when you really feel struggle, when you have high anxiety, when you feel I'm in the storm of something, I can't think properly anymore, I'm just totally absorbed and occupied by my symptoms, by my emotions, by this wave, so to speak. So at this point, we usually think we have to do something. Something has to happen to help us, to support us. And that's not true, because in the moment when you are, let's say, when we keep this example of the wave, when the wave is really high, you have to ride the wave on your own. Because if you're in the wave and you're looking out for help and shouting for help in this moment, you lose yourself, you get drawn by the wave. And this is the metaphor, because when you are on the wave and you seem to be sucked in by the wave, and when you think in this moment, oh my God, I feel so sick, I feel so bad, I watch another video, then in this moment, this is nothing else than a coping mechanism. So instead of riding the wave, instead of saying, okay, I allow everything that's happening here, it feels like you're standing on the edge and someone tells you, do you have to jump? And you say, no, 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 I don't want to jump. I don't want to jump. I want to check some advice. But in this moment, we are running away from the raw experience. And when we are running away from this raw experience, it means we keep the anxiety alive, because we just went to the edge, but not further, because our mind wants to tell us, hey, you're crossing the edge, but there is no edge to cross over. These sensations are highly unpleasant at times, highly unpleasant, but they can't kill you and they can't do you any harm. It just feels like this. So the message here is, if you understand this, you have to bring it to the test at a certain point on your recovery. Because if you don't bring it to the test, if you don't decide, I feel so awful right now and I'm riding the wave right now, whatever matters, I don't use any tools, I don't use any ways to calm myself down in this moment. I'm just going with the raw experience. And what is the raw experience? The raw experience is, in most of the cases, either a strong physical pain, but in most cases related to anxiety, it's just adrenaline. So we are in fear, we think the worst is going to happen, so adrenaline is pumping into our bloodstreams, and this triggers thoughts and emotions, and we think, this is my last day, this is my last moment, I can't stand it, I'm going crazy, whatever this voice in you might be. And what I want to share is, in this moment, you have to leave everything aside and allow it to happen. So as some of you might know, I'm a great fan of the work of Claire Weeks and her principles, and I will come to that in some further videos to explain more about her work and her principles. I did it already, but I will continue to do this. But this is one of the aspects, is you are not running away from your fears anymore, from the unpleasant sensations. You don't distract yourself by finding a solution to, I have this adrenaline rush, so I need a solution in this moment. In this moment, you don't ride the wave. You're sucked in. You are lost. You look outside of yourself. And in this moment, you don't need to find anything inside yourself. It's not about finding any answers or something. It's just about to allow the raw sensations and don't fight against them. And just decide to stay as loose and limp and relaxed as you are able in this moment, and nothing more. And kind of you offering yourself to this moment, you surrender to this moment. You decide, you can say, okay, these are old energies, and these old energies, they just want to relieve. That's all. They just want to leave your body. And when you can give the permission to relieve these old energies, and this might take a few minutes, and this might take a few hours even, and even it might be a setback for 1 or 2 days, who knows. And it can be very unpleasant. And it can happen that you wake up with it and you go to bed with it, and the next day you wake up and it's still there. And what you can do is to surrender again and to just have the idea of I'm floating through this period as good as I can. I don't need to find any solutions. The body will do it for you. And the body will do it when we don't interfere with our scared actions, or of course our scared thoughts. So if we believe our own thoughts and then we're fueling them in this situation, of course, then we prolong this roller coaster. But with time and practice, when you see, you show yourself, I'm able to ride all these unpleasant waves again and again. They come, and then I have some relief, and I already feel, okay, there's something off my system. And yeah, but then we go back to old habits, and then a next round might come. And these rounds, they come as long as we are scared of them. But with repetition and experiencing, nothing is going to happen to me. I'm safe, even with these highly unpleasant sensations. And instead of moving away, instead of finding a solution, I face it, I go through it, I allow my body to be open as possible, and then eventually I will come to the other side. There is no other point. You have to come to the other side, because these adrenaline rushes and these waves, they also just have a certain amount of energy. And when they're out of energy, things will calm down again. And then you might say, oh my goodness, what was that? That was a huge, an intense experience. But I survived it, and even more, I'm much calmer afterwards right now. And this is diving through a panic attack, an anxiety attack, or high anxiety, with lots of adrenaline, and we don't need to understand anything about it. We're just floating through as good as we can. And this is all we can do. No interpretations, no solutions, no rumination, just the raw experience. And the less we build up resistance, the less we avoid, the less we use YouTube videos in these moments while we're in this perfect wave. There is the ground foundation for our recovery. And this is, we have to understand, because the more you're capable to go through the most difficult storms, the stronger you get. And I repeat it, when you avoid these storms, you're still coping, you're still micromanaging, you're still hoping, hopefully it doesn't get that worse today, and there are some signs already, hopefully it will leave me on its own, and so on. But with this kind of avoidances and coping mechanisms, we cause the opposite. Because we tense up and we are avoiding, and just these things, they cause more tension in the body, and therefore we keep the cycle going. And to interrupt the cycle can have daily new behaviors. You can establish new behaviors in your daily life. Also, this is part of the journey. But what I was talking about today is when it's really getting unpleasant, when you hardly can bear it. There is the fuel, the power to reverse something and get stronger out of it. So when I want to encourage you, when next time you're in these kind of states and when they feel totally overwhelming, let the overwhelm be there. Allow the overwhelming feeling there, be there, and go through it. And I tell you, you are capable, and you are getting stronger out of the other side. And to run away just keeps it's going, and it needs your strength in some kind of way. But afterwards, you will realize that it wasn't that bad, and that you were able to stay and stand in the storm, and that's possible. So this is my encouragement for today. And of course I did similar videos, but this is one really, it's an important message, because usually we turn away, usually we avoid, usually we just go to a certain point and then hoping for the best. But here I tell you, go a little bit further. And by practicing this, you will get used to it. And when you get used to the wildest sensations, then these sensations can go down with time, because they don't have any use anymore, because you're not scared anymore. And when you're not scared anymore, your fear can leave you. As simple as that. So thanks for listening, and practice your way out to freedom and peace. And it's behind these fears, there is peace in all of us. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Send it to someone who might find this useful, and leave a comment if you want to interact with me. And if you want some further personal help, you can reach out and you find further information on my webpage. And for now, I wish you a good day and we talk soon. Bye.